You did section. Okay. On an arrow.
Yeah, I do.
Back 50. Okay. On an arrow.
All right, we've got some folks that are still joining us. It's like some interesting folks. I'm seeing California, I'm seeing North Carolina, LA. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So we're excited to have everybody here. And I think that we're going to go ahead and get started if folks are okay with that. Oh, and chilly Minneapolis, might be some snow on the ground there from the showers this weekend. So, brr. Hey, Tammy, welcome from West Virginia Statewide After School Network. So glad to have you with us. So, yeah, so welcome everybody. Excited to have you here. I'm Angelina Garner. I am VP of Strategic Innovation and Partnerships at Mizzen Education. And we're excited to have you here with Mizzen Meets. We have a wonderful group of folks who are going to be sharing their expertise with you today. So if we get a little familiar with each other, I know some folks probably know about Mizzen Education, but if not, I will just share with you. Mizzen Education is a free out-of-school time platform that's been designed with and for educators and out-of-school time educators. And so it's kind of like that place where you can go and you can find high quality content, lesson plans that have been designed for you, and all kinds of wonderful things that can support you in professional development. And I don't know if I said it already, but the platform is free. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is sign up, and then you have access to over 1,800 pieces of content, awesome videos, all kinds of different research-backed information to support you in the field. So as you're building the capacity for your young people and creating awesome experiences for them, you're also creating awesome experiences for yourself. So welcome. We're excited to have you here. And I think we're kind of ready to get into some conversation. What do you think about EJS Project Team? Y'all ready?
Ready.
All right. Well, let's get started. And so I thought one of the best ways to get started is to go around. And maybe we can start with the young folks first. So I know that we have one more, and I will say we have one more person that's going to be joining us, PJ. He is on his way to the program right now. But right now we have Myles and Jemiah, and so they're going to share with us. And how about if, Myles, I start with you. How about if you can introduce yourself and tell us why you're part of the EJS project?
Hello, my name is Myles Blackman. I'm currently in the 9th grade. And why I like being a part of EJS projects is because of the bond and the family that is made throughout the program.
Hi, my name is Jemiah Johnson. I'm in 11th grade. And why I love being a part of EJS is because of the family, the friendship, and the many opportunities that EJS has brought to me and is also bringing to me in the future.
Awesome. Thank you too. And then, of course, we have the extraordinary, I will say, facilitators and designers and creators of the program. And so I'd like to pass it over to you two. So I don't know, Dupree or Miss Jojo, who would like to start first? And tell us about EJS Project. What is the project and the program about? How do you connect with the community? And what's one of the most important things of when you're thinking about working with young people that is really central to your work?
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and get started and then pass it over on to Dupree. So my name is Joeniseley. I go by Jojo for short. I am Director of Operations here with the EJS Project. I believe I'm going on 3 years if I'm not mistaken. Okay, awesome. Time is flying by when you're doing what you love, so that's amazing. So we are based in Boynton Beach. We serve teams throughout Palm Beach County, and we provide a safe space for teens. So we have a variety of programs that we'll probably get into a little later as the students speak. But when I think about the EJS project, I really think about not just a safe space for students, but a safe space for adults as well. I think we are all learning, and we're currently helping each other learn and develop. And I've been able to develop my skills as well. I've gained my master's degree, but even so, you don't learn everything in school. So it's really good to kind of be around young adults, to be around adults, period, and kind of learn from them. So
That was great. I just add, first of all, my name is Dupree Jackson. I'm the proud founder and executive director of the EJS Project. And Jojo and the kids did a great job of explaining what we do. I would just add, amongst other things, the center, Project Hub, our out of school space is the most important piece. But just having, trusted adults and mentors that kids can rely on, that check in on them every day, always supporting them, showing love, helping them set lofty goals, but not just leaving them out to dry to figure it out themselves, but helping them, build the skill set, the tools to reach those goals. That's what we take pride in here at EJS, and that's what we feel like we do day in and day out. So all that in a nutshell, and we do have some pretty amazing, engaging programs that we utilize to help bring the best out of our kids, and we look forward to sharing about some of those programs later.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I know that part of the program is that there are internships and
Yeah.
that, right, one of the things that we're talking about is really like career exploration and career pathways, which are, right, some of those foundation pieces when we think about, gosh, as a young person, and I'm going to say even as an adult, like which way am I going? Which is the pathway? And I love about continuing to grow and learn. And that's just something, right, like we want to do. And so Dupree, could you maybe share with us more around those programs and the different types of programs? And then I'd love to hear from Jemiah and Myles more around like specific internships and those experiences.
Right. So I'll start there we labeled it purpose page, what it sounds like. But really that's our paid summer internship program. So our kids do get to work in various different fields, but they get paid for their time. So they're not only getting the work experience, they earning income to go into their household. And it adds a level of like independence that we love seeing. We love seeing our kids sign their first check. Leading up into purpose phase is our teen career readiness, which is a very critical piece because without that, a lot of the soft skills and some of the hard skills that you need to be employable are formed. That's, public speaking, resume writing, etiquette, interview skills, and financial literacy. So if you're going to be earning money, learning the importance of managing it, all those things are vital. We introduce them to it, make them go through it a couple of times, and we think it prepares them for whatever role, whatever job they're going to go into that summer. So that's perfect page. That's our career workforce development. And we also have a few other areas like our Project Hub, which is the safe space. So all our after school programming, summer camps, spring break camps, everything that happens out of school. And in this space is the Project Hub. And we have Each One Teach One. A lot of our academic, personal development, mental health supports falls up under that category. We have a couple programs up under that. And the last one, what did I forget? About that action, our slogan, our motto. And what it sounds like. We here really believe that in order to get anything done, it starts with action. So we like to say we stay ready. You don't have to get ready. And that's like really our war chant. Like we're about that action. We stay ready out in the community, being responsive to community needs, showing up for other people outside of our own household, and just volunteering. So that's in a nutshell our 4 program areas. But we do have a lot of sub programs that fall up under those 4 areas.
Okay, well, thank you. So I'm going to start with Jemiah. Jemiah, can you tell us about some of your experiences that you've had within the program? And I know that internship was one of the pieces, but yeah, please share about your experience and what that's been like for you and why it's been important for you.
With my internship, so my future job I want to be is a pediatric doctor. So my internship was with Build and Play, and I basically took care and watched over toddlers from ages 2 to 6, I think. And I basically I made them ICs, I changed them, and basically did like what I would do if I was if I was in the medical field right now. And it was just a great opportunity for me to be able to get this internship and be able to see how I would be able to deal with kids for when I was to be a pediatric doctor.
Nice. So what's something that you learned new from the experience that was like an aha moment that you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, or like, okay, I wanna know more about that.
Having like the knowledge that 2-year-olds have, like they have more knowledge than like 6-year-olds, and you wouldn't expect that. Like you just expect them to be like so chill, toddler twos, but they're really smart and really they vocal with what they want and what they need.
Nice. Thanks. Yeah, those 2-year-olds, man, they'll get you and they're on the move. So smart and on the move. Love that. So Myles, what about you? Can you share about your experiences and why was it important to you?
So me, I was also a part of the Purpose Page program. I worked at Mathurin Creative Agency, and Mathurin Creative Agency is a marketing agency where we take pictures, videos, we conduct websites for people. We also monitor their Instagrams and things like that. But for me, as I was working there, I was their Instagram manager. So I would create like their reels, what they would post on their Instagram, and keep their social media up while they're monitoring others.
Okay. And for you, so being in that space, what was something like it was new or aha for you?
Something new was like it was very hands-on, so I got to like touch the cameras, record with like 4K cameras and things like that. And one of the reels that I made, it ended up going like viral, and I was like very like, wow, that was amazing. I like that.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm thinking I might need to contact you and see if you can help me with my own Instagram. I'm definitely struggling in that space, and I'm sure you've got some tips for me, so I could definitely use that. So that's awesome. So I know the last time that we talked, y'all shared that you actually took a trip somewhere and that it was really impactful for you. So we're talking about like the career space, but there's so many different things that lead and can impact like your career choices and shape that experience. So I think you guys were sharing that you went into internships. Was it that you traveled to DC?
Yes.
Yeah. So could you share with us about, like, because I found it really like powerful and inspirational when you guys were telling me about DC and what that trip was like for you and why the experience that you had really mattered and made you think about, who you are, how you relate to your community. And yeah, just even thinking about how you relate to your career choices.
So the trip that you're talking about, it was a program called YLP, which is Young Legislators Program, where we meet with like different representatives for county to local, state, and things like that. So when we went to Washington, we were able to meet with like John Sarbanes and like Cameron, was it Cameron Black? Was it?
Charlie Black.
Charlie Black. And we basically got to meet with them, talk with them, and they poured some gems into us, and we got to go on a Howard school tour where we were on the campus visiting. We got a full tour. It was very nice throughout the
Awesome.
whole week.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Jemai, you were telling me also, I think, were you sharing that you guys went to a couple of very specific places that might have kind of influenced your thoughts around history?
We went to the African American Museum and the Holocaust Museum. At the African American Museum, I learned more about like African American history that we don't get taught about in schools. Like in the museum, that was my first time hearing about the Emmett Till story. And it was just like very heartfelt to know that he's been through so much and he has not been talked about. And then in the Holocaust Museum, we got to see like what they wore, for like their shoes, their bed, and basically how like the bus situation, how the whites had more space and more room to more they was more comfortable than the blacks, and they had more bathroom space. They had water areas. The blacks had to go to the whites to get water, and just had little. It was like this was the black and this was the white for the bus, and it was just very heartening and saddening to see. And I want to do it. Like I want to go see it again and go through it again.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Those are like really powerful experiences. So, being in the internship, you've talked about some of the different programs and aspects. What's something that you learned about yourself by participating in the internship? And maybe something that once you learned about yourself, like how did you take it out or share it with the others or even reflect upon it for yourself?
I'm very patient. Like I was very, very patient with the kids. Even like what they said to me, I was just like me with my own siblings, I'm not patient with them. So I was very patient with the kids. So it shocked myself.
Well, appreciate your honesty. All right, we're all people who continue to grow and learn. What about you, Myles?
I learned that I'm, kind of a good script writer, and I was able to come up with good ideas for the reels. And again, the reel went viral, so that was
Nice. Awesome. So, Dupree and Miss Jojo, so thinking about all of these different types of experiences, how do you prepare your teams to support these experiences? And how do you develop them so, right, they're providing supportive environments for the young people as they navigate and explore all the different programs and the safe space that you've created?
Want me to start? So, well, first of all, especially with our team of four now, we're a small team. Now, I'll start with them. We had other employees throughout the years, but everybody individually has a passion or desire outside of working for EJS to make their community a better place, to be they're goal driven, they have aspirations, and they want to like pour back into kids. So that's the start. So then when you come and want to work for an organization like EJS, it's easier to buy into the approach and how we do things, which is pretty much if we're gonna open our doors and be a teen center, then teens have to play a part in all the decisions. We always have to hear their voice. And I don't want to get too technical, but we even have our own model. Like we just flipped the pyramid upside down. Like our parents and our students come first, not funders, not board members, not outside entities. It's the people who we serve and we're trying to improve life outcomes for. So if you can buy into that concept and really understand the reason why we're here, the reason we do work, the reason everything that you heard about, the key, the underlying thing there is really access to resources. Like that's what I feel my biggest job is to do is to take kids that are labeled, whatever they label, high risk. We think they have all the potential in the world. So we say high potential kids, but to not only give them the skill set, the traditional education, but the secret stuff that we all know that matters, which is relationships, like helping expand their social capital, expand their horizons, giving them trips, having them learn about stuff like that. Because I tell you, even though it was disheartening, like Jemiah said, it was tough to learn at first. It lights a fire in you when you feel like you were kind of cheated out of a certain type of education, especially our kids. We need that kind of introduction to feeling like, hey, people are intentionally not trying to teach you this history for a reason. That's all we needed to fire them up. Like, you know what? I got to read more. I got to take my academics more serious. And that helps us do our job a little better when we come home. So all those things is what we work hard year round to try to introduce these kids to and prepare them to be ready to take advantage of these opportunities when they do present themselves.
That's powerful. Thank you. So Dupree, thinking about that, how do you engage family into the space with the young people and the community as well? Because it seems like, right, you have a holistic approach
Right.
when you think about the design of the program and providing opportunities. So what does that look like for you all?
Yeah. And forgive me for making it sound really so second nature, because it is for us. I'm born and raised in this community. So take Jemiah and Myles, for example. I've known their parents. I've known Myles way before thinking about him being EJS, just supporting him. He was a young entrepreneur. Jemiah does things outside of EJS. He's on the STEP team. My daughter's on the STEP team. Our program manager, parents and sister coaches the STEP team. So we're a big community. So it's not hard to have to establish trust, because the community knows me. They see me grow up. They know who I am. I'm always out in the community, and we set we make it clear from the very first meeting when we do an intake what our expectations are, what they can expect from us, what we can provide, what we try to provide, what we hope to provide. All that is laid out in the very first meeting. So the relationship, everything past that, even if conflict arise, whether the student is not doing what they're supposed to be doing in school, it's much more of a team approach. So it's easy for me to call mom, or mom and dad call us and say, hey, we need to meet with Myles. Myles is slipping in this, his first semester of high school. I'm sorry, I'm not just making that up. That kind of happened, but it's easier for us just to talk like, hey, Myles, your mom peaked that you're slipping a little bit, and we peaked that you're sleeping a little bit. Is everything okay? Do you need a little more support? And just when you have that it's us approach, and not, like we're not a organization or a separate entity. I know we're a team helping your kid reach their greatest potential. It makes things a lot easier. In communication, we always ask for feedback. We leave the channel's open both ways. If something's not right, they can talk to us about it. We like to hear when things are going well too. We take that in consideration. But yeah, like you said, definitely us. Like, we're not trying to do anything for people. We're trying to do things with our neighbors. That's the difference.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's important, right, for all of us on the call, like to hear that, right? Like, what are some of those really specific, fundamental and foundational pieces that you're putting in place? And I'd like to just go a little bit further. You had talked about about mental health supports and social emotional learning, and then even community supports. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like within the program for the community and young people?
One of me or me?
No. You're asking the adults or the students?
Yeah, either adults or students. How about the adults?
So, well, you can't do this work aside from having our being reassured that our kids are okay mentally, right? It's just too hard. Like, our kids have too many distractions before they get to EJS, from their phone, social media apps, peer pressure and all that stuff. So what I learned through doing this work, and I'll take it back. The first thing was, I didn't really open myself up to speaking with a therapist or taking my mental health very seriously until about 5 years ago. So I was in my late 30s. The last thing I wanted was for our kids to wait that long to know how serious it is, how important it is. So that's another thing. Like, I use my life as an example to help create shortcuts for our kids. So that's one thing. I found value in talking to a therapist, expressing myself, or getting tips on how to manage and deal with life. So I wanted to pass that same tool or sense of relief on to our kids. So that's one part. But then it's kind of work. How do you introduce that in a nonprofit setting? And it wasn't a hard sell when you tell, like, board members or people who support us or funders. And I'm gonna shout them out because we see a couple on this call now. It's not a hard sell when we honestly say, when we build a trust, open space like this, it's some stuff that comes with it. When kids feel like they can talk to you about anything, guess what? They're going to talk to you about anything. And sometimes we don't have the answers or can't provide the correct processes or how they should manage or deal with things. And we have to call some up. And that call up for us is a therapist, a licensed clinician. And we have one in-house that we work with. And here, what we do is create a culture at EJS where that's not, there's no stigma attached to it if you want to talk to our therapist. It's just just like almost like working out, physical health and mental health kind of on the same plane. It's not that you're crazy, you're different, you're sad. You just want to be better. You want to be healthier. And so we do a lot of non-threatening therapeutic sessions. We talk about it. We want to make sure our kids are able to identify when their peers aren't on point, when their peers probably need someone to talk to. So all that goes into, if we really want to be serious about helping our kids be their true, full, whole selves, you can't skip over the mental health piece. And we had to take it serious. And all the barriers that come with it, whether it's health insurance or can't afford to see a therapist, we tackle those problems. That's really the brunt of our work, is trying to figure out how to find solutions to problems that we know need solving. And it takes a team effort, and we've been able to get it done.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you
Sure.
for sharing your story and like how it's really important, right, to be able to support young people that we bring our whole selves into the space as well, right, to be able to support. So, thinking about that and thinking about how you're preparing your team, I have a question for Jemiah and Myles. What's something that you would like to share with us as, as adult professionals in the space that you think would be helpful as you explore your career, like as you continue down the path of exploring career exploration? What's something that you think that we should know or that we should learn to be able to support you?
I think something that's important to know is to keep the activity, fun, not boring, because we have not a low attention span, but like it could tend to move quickly. So just keeping it fun and moving and keeping it on track.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Same. So, as you guys had done this career journey, what's something that you would tell like your friends or your peers about like something that was important to you about, exploring career opportunities and being in this program? Hey, Patrick.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry for my tardiness.
No, we're so glad to have you. We were just talking about maybe advice that you all would have as young people, as being in this space for other young people as they did career exploration. So I don't know if you'd like to, first introduce yourself and tell us why you're part of the program, and then, might have you take that question if you're okay with that.
Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Madison. I am in 11th grade. I'm 17 years old, and I go to Dreyfus School of the Arts up in West Palm Beach. That's the reason for my tardiness. We get out a little bit later. Um, I just wish that the train conductor would have put a little bit more pep in his step.
And we're just happy to have you here. It's
Of
great.
course, I'm happy to be here.
So, Patrick, one of the things that we were asking Jemiah and Myles about was what's something that you learned from the internship program that was like a aha moment for you, or like something that you're like, oh, this is something I learned new and now I want to research more about.
Definitely with me working at Sandaway Discovery Center down in Delray Beach, I learned a lot about like marine life and like how to take care of marine animals and all types of animals, land and in the water. And me taking a marine science class in school, I'm able to use what I've learned previously into that class. So it's kind of like seeing something on paper and saying like, oh, I learned this here and I can apply it here. So seeing how my work value and working around animals and learning around people that know a lot about them, I'm able to put that into real life.
Nice. So, what's something that you learned new about yourself by having the internship?
Something I learned new about myself,
Uh-huh.
definitely that I now have a new favorite type of animal, which is snakes, which is not
Oh,
something I thought I would, which is not something I thought I would have, but now I do.
wait, I'm laughing. Other people in the room shaking their heads no. So
Fact.
that's
That's good.
awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, something else.
Anything else for that, right? No, that's great. So thinking about that, you guys had these amazing experiences, these internships. We talked about like having a bit of that experience in DC, which was like new exposure and understanding like new aspects of history and what that means to you personally. From the internships, did it make you want to stay on that career pathway, or are you open or looking to explore other opportunities and other internships?
Is this for him or?
For all three of you, anyone? Yeah.
I'll take it. Definitely something that I'm open to. I still want to stick to my original plan, which is theater and acting. But now that I've been in the field, it is something that I'm willing to take a class on and like get a degree in and maybe take that step if like theater falls behind.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
How about Miles or Jemiah? What about you?
I would stay on my career path to be a pediatric doctor. It's been what I wanted to do for a really long time. At first, I wanted to be what is it called? I think it's still the kids field, but yeah, at first I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, but my uncle told me to aim higher, and so now I want to be a pediatric doctor.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Miles?
So for me, taking pictures, content creating, that's all like a hobby. I'll do that all day, any day. But I really want to be an accountant, real estate agent, or anywhere in the medical field. So I would be open to exploring new things.
Okay, thank you. So, looking forward in the program, I know that we've heard a lot about AI and how AI is going to impact the career pathways that are ahead of us. So, Dupree and Miss Jojo, what has been some of your thoughts as you guys navigate, right, this new space of thinking about AI and also like career pathways and the design of the program?
That's a great question. I think for us, it's important to kind of stay ahead of the game because a lot of our students use AI, but I think it's important for us as adults, as mentors, to train them in how to use the tool instead of allowing that tool to think for them. So it's just providing them with the skill sets on how they can input things into AI and how to collect that information back out. But regarding jobs, yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful.
We
Yeah,
have
thank
got
you.
yeah, we have yeah, because we don't have an answer, so we don't have. It's kind of like what we said earlier. If you ask us the same thing like about dentistry or about marine biotics, uh, biography or anything like that, we're not the experts in the fields. We're the experts are taking our kids, helping build their self-esteem, their value, their soft skills, making sure they're dependable, they show up on time, reliable, able to take criticism. So when they're in workspaces, they're able to absorb these different skill sets. One example, when we were in DC, we had a gentleman join us for dinner to kind of talk to that group of kids about exactly what you're talking about right now, which is all the careers and opportunities that are going to be in AI and tech, period. So my job, our job, is to tap in with young men like him because that's his thing. That's what he wakes up for, passionate about driving to expose kids to opportunities, how to make money, how to move with the speed of the times, sometimes even be ahead of the game. So we want to schedule Zooms or workshops with him because he's passionate about it. He knows the ins and outs. And again, our job is to make sure we have a group of kids that are ready, willing, able to learn and absorb that, and then go out and do amazing things with it. So I can't, shout out, and Jojo can't say we, teaching them all the ins and outs of AI when we barely get it ourselves. So we learn.
Yeah.
But our thing is, like Jojo said, is to just the first thing we can do is help them understand it's a tool. Definitely take advantage of it. I think if you're not using it, you're not trying, to be honest, it's one of those things. But if you're only relying on it, you're doing yourself a lot of harm, a lot of damage in the long run.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for answering. And actually, you did answer. So thank you. So it sounds like being proactive in the space, thinking ahead and being in the future and making those connections. So it sounds like, right, like making those connections out in the community, thinking about who can bring in those types of like experiences. So I think you gave us an answer. So yeah, please.
Yeah. And I had wanted to, if you don't mind, go back a little bit because the question you had asked right before that one, just about figuring out or learning, we had an example that popped up just this last year and a half. So we had one of our students, she just recently graduated. I'm gonna shout out Myles. From the time she joined EJS Project, she would tell Arif, she would tell, Marcus, like her aspirations was in the medical field. She wanted to either be a doctor, work in a hospital. That was her thing. Last summer, through great partnerships, she got to experience a little bit of both. She worked in the clinic part-time and she worked in the ER, the hospital part-time. When I tell you she left that experience saying, that's what I don't want to do. And now you fast forward to this year, and in my year, I'm telling you, she was talking about that from ninth grade, 10th grade. But when she got that experience her 11th grade year, she realized that wasn't her thing. Fast forward this year, she had the opportunity to intern with True Floridian, the fur baby realtor group. And right, she loved it. Right now, her and her boss, which is Adrian, they're almost attached at the hip. I'm pretty sure, I know she's been studying for that test. I don't know if she took it already, but she's really close to having her real estate license. And this is what she loved. This is her thing. So you, like I said, like you get to figure out, it's probably just as important what you don't want to do. And it kind of can help push you and motivate you when you find that head, like, yeah, this feels right. This feels like me. And so we've seen that happen on a number of occasions, but that was one that popped up.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, because I think a lot of times it's about the internships, like, and you get excited about the experience, but it's all right to not like some things too, right? Or know that it's not my thing. But sounds like Patrick's on board for the snakes, so we know that that's I should be asking. So, moving forward, and I think I kind of already asked this, but if you know that you have certain interest areas, how do you guys see yourself leaning into that? Are there other things you're having the internships, but outside of the internships, are you making other connections and trying to explore like how you're making connections with other people or trying out new things that are connected to those career interests? And this is for Jemiah, Myles, and Patrick.
Well, like I said, I am taking a marine biology science class in at Dreyfus, so that's another way I'm branching out. And I still regularly volunteer at Sandaway House on the weekends when I have time. So that's something else that to just keep me in the loop and keep myself educated.
Nice.
Well, I have siblings. I'm the oldest on both sides. Altogether, I have 10 siblings. So I just watch over them, and I just recently just had a sister. I think she's 2 months, and I've just been taking care of her, like using what I learned at my internship, and basically putting that into her and changing her and watching over her and making sure that she's okay.
Awesome. Thank you. How about you, Myles?
For me, I'm still recording reels and things like that for the EJS project with help from Miss Jojo. So I still record like some of the events that we go to and things like that.
Okay, nice. So, did have a question. There's been a couple of questions that have been popping up within the chat, and so this one I'm gonna actually go back to Dupree, Miss Jojo. So, how do you all find your community partners who want to provide paid internships for the EGS scholars?
I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I do want to answer it. You know?
Okay.
Because that's a great question, and I think it's important because I wanted to find a way. If I was talking to other people who run after school sites or work with specifically teens, I would want to hear this. And we always need a little more. And I'm talking about as far as funds, resources to be able to provide to our teams and at our center. And especially in the nonprofit sector, it's hard to do this, especially sustain without strong community partnerships. We hit a home run with our purpose page program, and it wasn't the plan on the onset, right? The plan was to keep our kids busy and put money in their pocket and help them gain skills to prepare for the future. That was the plan. But what this has turned into is strong community partnerships for two reasons. One, the business is able to gain something from the partnership instead of just writing a check or being a sponsor. Our kids gain valuable work experience. And when we go down the list, you guys are all over the country, but here in our local area, some of the names from the school that she worked at, the two women who founded that school, Sandaway House, is a important part of our community. It's been around for a long time. Spodak Dental is one of our partners. Community Greening has been in the past. It's the list goes on. And I say a lot of these names because not only are these businesses important to the community, but the people who founded them. And our kids have relationships with the people who founded these businesses. So you talk about social capital, like that's underrated because Arif said it when we were talking earlier. One thing we can guarantee all these kids, we hope they go out and do great things, go out to college, don't have to be local. But when they do come home, at the very least, especially with their evaluations, because they get graded off their performance, we know they will be able to walk into any one of these places that they internship at and say, hey, do you need help? And they'll be like, absolutely. So if you are running the center and you can do a program like this, it's valuable because everybody, especially in this day and age, needs quality employees, people who are dependable, people who show up on time, people who work hard, people who are ambitious, people who have manners, people who are respectful. The skill stuff can be taught, but when you come in with that type of attitude, it's priceless. And that's what we've been doing, and we've been seeing the benefits. And I would note this, and again, shout out to the people who are joining. It takes a village. It really is collective impact. Our pitch was simple for these to open the door to these businesses because what we did was we relied on grants and our funders to fund the program itself. So EJS writes the checks to the students. The partnership is for the businesses to take them in. They have a supervisor, train them, and treat them like an employee. So you clock in, you clock out. It shouldn't be any difference. It shouldn't be like an internship. So that was the switch off. And then a lot of these employers, after the 2-month internship is over, then if they offer a job, they have value, then they take over paying. But the 2-month program, we write grants for, we have support and funding so we can pay our kids with our program. Again, a testament to the belief in our mission, our approach, and how we're doing things.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. That's great to hear. So thinking about the design of the program, here was another question that was in the chat. How do you all, can you tell us more about how you all bring the fun to the career development? So what's some of the fun and the celebration pieces that happen within the program?
Okay.
There's a chuckle. Oh, there's a lot of chuckles. So
so I will talk about the Teen Career Combine. I think that is the event that the kids enjoy the most. So in regards to the purpose paid internships, they go through the TCR. So they go through all of the things, all of the workshops that they have to do. And at the end of the workshops, they would conclude with a on the Teen Career Conference Day. But I'll let somebody else talk about that one. I'm going to discuss the Teen Career Combine. So during the Combine, we'll invite all of the job sites out to look at the kids, to review the kids, to score the kids, and we'll have a variety of games for the students to participate in. And all of the games are pretty different. Like we had a water bucket challenge. So that one consisted of 2 students paired up, one is blindfolded, and then they had to kind of get the bucket around the obstacle course and pour it into the other bucket. And that really is just evaluating like the kids that step up, the kids that are vocal, if kids can work together, kind of seeing how kids can display those skills that they need for the workforce, but in a very chill way. So that one is a very competitive, fun day. We look at when the kids arrive, if they arrive on time, if they're late, what their attitude is like, if they, mess up, or if their team doesn't win, do they bounce back? Are they upset? So we're evaluating all of that, and then the job sites are evaluating that as well. So we have this past year, there was, I believe, one job site that gave student interviews on the site. Like they were like, oh yeah, we want that student. Let's set up an interview, and kids got their interviews that way.
Okay.
That was great. That was great. And I want to add some things that I just noticed this past summer that was what I thought was fun for the kids. I could just feed off their energy. One is when we list the jobs first. So if it's like, say we have potential 15, 16 partners or career fields, we'll list them. The kids get to pick their top 3. Then we'll go through and narrow that down. Then they get the interview for 1 or 2. So that's kind of fun too, because they have options, right? So that's kind of fun. Then another thing I know is just sometimes it's simple as a job. A couple of kids got so excited just because they knew they had to wear scrubs for their job. When I tell you they thought they were a big deal because they had a pair of scrubs, they went to work every day. Like you can't jazz one of them, but like you can't it's priceless. And the biggest one is that day they signed that check, and they were sitting there looking at it, and it has their name on it. They signed it. That's all the engagement you need. They get paid. They independent, got a little money in their pocket. So those 3 things stuck out to me when you talk about keeping them engaged, keeping it excited, keeping it fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those
one young girl said she was rich after she got her check. So yeah, I could never forget that video.
I love that. That's nice. I like keeping it professional. I like this career combine. So yeah, you all shared. So Myles, Patrick, and Jemiah, what was the best part of that experience for you all? If you got to participate.
I won an award.
What'd you win? What'd you win?
Good. I won I think it was best sportsmanship.
Okay, nice.
My entire team won the championship. We won the entire team. Okay. We went undefeated.
I love that. Nice. Well, that's good to hear. What about you, Myles? Did you get to participate?
I did participate, but although my team didn't win or anything like that, we were still a great team. We collaborated. We had very good teamwork, and in my books, we won.
I love it. Right. Walking away, everybody was winners. Good collaboration, good focus. So thank you guys for sharing what is the best part. So I know that we've had some questions that have been in the chat. I know that Haley and I've had questions back and forth. So I just wanted to open it up. I know that we've got several folks on here. So if y'all would like to either pose a question or just a thought or a shout out for the webinar, we'd love to hear from folks. Don't be shy. If not, we've got more to say too.
It's fun watching the chat, by the way, too. Yeah. Carlos and Haley, y'all the MVPs.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. My name is Jose James. I'm from Palm Beach County. Specifically, I grew up born in Boynton, raised in Delray, raised in Palm Beach through and through. I see a lot of familiar faces because, especially for some reason you look very familiar. Miss Gardner, that's your name? You look very familiar. But I don't know why you do, but you look very familiar. But my question is that how did this, because I was introduced through my god sister. She was singing at an event at EJS. It was a block party you guys were having, if I'm not mistaken. A year ago.
Yeah.
And my god sister was singing there, and due to her singing there, it introduced me to the whole, company, and I also have friends who are also involved in the company as well. But how did this came about? What made you start this whole company? What made you say, let's start EJS Project, and what made you want to start it in Palm Beach? What made you start this, and how do you join it?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So first of all, I love to meet you again. Thanks for that great question. So the root of why I started the EJS project, is because it's simple. I was a kid that I like to think I overachieved, because a lot of people didn't have many expectations for me, because of the type of household I grew up in, the street I was raised in, and like my family background. But despite all that, I overcame. I always look for programs for people to follow, people to be inspired by. No, I think only one person in my family went off to college, but for some reason I was inspired by some good peers, and I wanted to go to college. Football had a part to play in that. But when I returned home from doing all that, went off to the Midwest and came back, I saw a lot of the same things. I saw kids on the same streets that I was raised on, with the same limited opportunities. And I also saw people judging those kids or labeling them. And I would be around other adults, and I would hear, and some of y'all adults don't hear, y'all hear that sometimes, like, oh, we're doomed. The future, these kids, they this, that, this day and age, this, that. I got tired of hearing it. And a simple thought came in. If you can speak like that into existence about our little kids, imagine if you just change your thought process, and like, our kids can be great. They can be doctors. They can be entertainers. They can be whatever they want to be, if they had the right resources, if they had an alternative from all the negative stuff. So instead of getting out of school and standing on the corner or going to the park and doing some nonsense with their friends, what if they had a structured environment with adults there that talked to them, that treated them like almost like a peer, like treated each student like it was their child, that dapped them up, that told them I love you every day. I thought all these things. I was like, what difference would that make? Like, what excuse would we have? And I really was inspired by that just simple, just having the space for kids to come. And it gets deeper than that, but that was the crux of it. Like, we can't predict or talk negative about something that we can control today, which is our kids' future. And it makes it sound cliche, but I think it's our biggest investment. If we start investing into them now, they're gonna pay us back tenfold later. And that's what we've been doing for the last 11 years.
Thank you.
Wow, that is wonderful story. And as someone who's also from there, as me and myself, that very that's like a heartfelt. I feel encouraged by that. As I said before, I grew up in Derry as well. I grew up on the east side of Derry, or popular as the set, as they call it.
Okay.
Yeah, grew up in there. Went to school there, went to church there. I went grew up there through and through. So as you said, I obviously, when people always think about us, we often get pushed to the side, or don't get talked about,
Yep.
because as I'm only 20 years old. I'm a college student, and me who I don't live in there anymore. I moved, but I all go back there to see family and friends, and I always wondered to myself, in Boca, there's FAU, there's Palm Beach State, but there's no college in Delray. I noticed that. And every time I was a kid, I was like, why that? Why did I always like that? Why do I have to go so far? Why not far? Why to go outside of our, city limit to go to find the best education, where we can easily do it here? And that's why that's why when I heard about EJS, it was like, wow, this is amazing. And I always wanted to join it, but I know who to talk to. But thank you for this
You know us
conversation.
now. You can call us directly, brother. We take volunteers. I know you're in college now, but you can be a part of the family. We'll find ways to get you involved. So you don't have to look any further. And we appreciate you making time to join us and share that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to say one thing that I heard that we have in common. And that was the thing. Even though I didn't have the answers when I was younger, I still always asked why. And like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I not good enough? Like, why don't we get the chance to do this? Why? Those
Yeah,
questions
man.
leads
Yeah,
leads
sir.
to it helps guide you. So keep asking why. Don't never just be satisfied with status quo. Always ask why.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Yeah.
Thanks,
You
Jose,
too.
for sharing and asking that question. And we'll definitely, like, everybody who believe that is on this webinar will actually be able to have this recording and follow-up information. So we want to make sure that you and Dupree get connected, because there's some great opportunities, like you said, for you to be, be part of that family and keep asking those questions and be part of this community that you are part of. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing and being here today. So we have time for one more question. Anybody else, whether in the chat or if you'd like to come off of mute?
I can come off mute quick. Hi, everyone. Question for Patrick, Jemiah, and Myles. What advice would you give, or do you have for other teens who are maybe starting internships or are wanting to develop their career development skills, and they're either nervous about it or they maybe don't have a program like EJS Project to help get into that space? What advice would you give them as they're starting their own career development?
Build a resume. That's the first thing we were taught to do, build a resume. Even if it's small, even if it's like a little bit of this, little bit of that, any kind of resume that shines on your accomplishments is the best bet you got, because if you don't have a resume, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I mean that in the nicest way and meanest way possible.
I would say, if there's any opportunities that will benefit you in the future that's at your school, take it. Don't just be like, oh, my friend's not going to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Don't care about well, in the nice, but don't follow what your friends are going to do. Follow your dreams and stay true to yourself. Be confident. If you want to do that, go for it. Take it.
For me, I would say just do it. I'm very God-centered. So my favorite verse is Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through Christ. So my mom taught me that growing up. So you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So just do it. It's nothing to be nervous, because at the end of the day, you can say that I did that. I was a part of that.
Right, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for imparting and giving us this wisdom today. This has been such an amazing conversation. It's just been exciting to hear about the career pathways work that you guys are designing and implementing and just being part of, and taking all that expertise that you have and sharing it with your community and with your friends and peers, and fellow OST professionals. So thank you all for being part of this conversation. Definitely, it seems like there's going to be more. Folks are really excited about getting this recording, and I think some people are going to be reaching out to y'all to definitely have you share more of the expertise. So we're looking forward for ourselves to continue this conversation as we do our own work around career exploration for Mizzen Education. So thank you for being that inspiration with us today. Folks, thank you for joining. We hope that you join us again and look for the recording. And yeah, everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank y'all. Thanks everybody for joining.
Bye.
How y'all doing? Hey everybody, good